Welcome to Declutters Delight for Life. Tonight is about decluttering 3 ways to let go of your past. I know a lot of us have past, and today is Father's Day. And sometimes some of our fathers are here and some of them are not. Or some of us have relived histories with fathers that are not so pleasant. And sometimes that brings reminders of past that we don't want to remember or past that we want to remember. Our past can be both positive and our past can be both negative. And one of my beliefs is that we cannot live in the past, that we have to live in the moment. And I have found for myself that no matter what my past has been or is, that there is absolutely nothing I can deal about it. That what is most important is my present moment. One way I talk about releasing my mental energy that is stored up in my body. And one of the ways I deal with that is I take myself to a place in nature and I blend myself with nature and realize that all around me, the beautiful nature has been here for years and years and will be here years after I've gone. And that with the beauty of it, like with, winter comes spring, with spring comes summer, and then summer comes fall. The same thing with our past. Our past is kind of like our winter. It has come, and we are now in spring and going into summer. And I think one of the biggest things I have learned is, as I was talking about, is learning to live in the moment. Hi, Charlotte. Learning to live in the moment, I think, is one of the most precious gifts we can do. Because a lot of us who have dealt with trauma or hoarding or chronic disorganization or clutter, and that we have a hard time letting go of our past. And but that's all it is our past. I know it feels like it feels like a haunted house, and there are ghosts there, but that's all they are. It's ghosts of our past. And what we have to learn to do is learn to release those. And for those who have religious beliefs, please don't take no offense. Kind of have to have an exorcism of them. And one of the things I do is I take some pens, pencil, and paper, and I sit down for a half an hour, and I just write and I write and write until I'm exhausted, and to the point that I release whatever I felt that has been in my past. And then I think about it. I read it over, and then I say to myself, is there anything I've left out? Is there anything I want to write even more? And then I think to myself, what can I do with this? What can I do to release this, what's on this paper? One of my favorite things I like to do is take the paper, tear it up into little pieces. If you've got a safe thing to put something into a fire with, this is something I like to do, is, a big glass container or a big metal container, and just put the pieces in there and light them and watch them, go up in the smoke. And for me, in my beliefs, the smoke rises, and as the smoke rises, it's a letting go of the past. And that letting go of the past is like saying it goes up in smoke. It doesn't have to be there anymore. And it's like it sends chills up my spine, and then it's released it. And I know it's simpler said than done, and I know a lot of times, even for myself, dealing as a trauma survivor, that it helps me work through things at a much more accelerated rate. You may have to do this several times over and over again, is just a suggestion as you work through things, but it gives you an option to do that. Or create rituals surround letting go. Take paper and write whatever's bugging you. And if you got a stream, put it down on a stream, crumple it up and let it go down a stream. Or throw it over a bridge down a river. And just, let it go. Because if you can let it go, you can move forward in your life. And moving forward is an important thing because it allows you to have a future. And for many of us, having a future is a beautiful thing. And for many of us, we've never thought we could have a future. But there are so many wonderful things that we can do with ourselves. And I know for myself, I've been able to march into the future for myself. I have learned as of late I can scan things into my computer, convert them into Word. I don't have to retype things. I mean, I'm learning all sorts of new computer skills, and I am now pretty much moving over from almost handwriting things I used to handwrite down everything except my journaling. I'm now using my computer exclusively. And this is like 6 months ago, coming from 18 years of not using a computer. And that came from letting go of my past and realizing there was a whole lot more things I could do with my life. And I even went through an exercise in a book about manifestation of a much more positive financial future for myself. And even that, it involves work. And it's not something for, I got to do something. It's not a something for nothing, because in life, I firmly believe that there's nothing for, you have to do something. There's nothing for something, or you have to do something in order to get something. I should put it that way. And the same things for letting go of our past. We sometimes need to do something physically in order to let go of it mentally and spiritually. And spiritually and mentally helps us physically. And it's all like a tripod. And when you have a tripod, you have something stable to stand on. And for a long time, many of us have only stood on a couple legs, and they've been unstable at that. But when we have this stable thing to stand on, it is a wonderful thing. And that unstableness that has been in our lives for a long time is not so unstable. And that letting go process becomes much easier and easier as we prod along on our journey and pathway. And I know for me, as I've moved along, I've just accelerated more and more. And if something comes up in my life, it's kind of like, okay. I kind of look at it and I let it go. It doesn't stay around. I don't like anything negative to stay around my life because I've got too much life to live and too much to do and too much positive energy I want to give out, because I love positive energy, because I get so much more feeling and my body feels great with it and can do a whole lot more. Even though I've been fighting off a little touch of the pneumonia, I'm feeling great that I've done in a long time and got the help I needed and got my energy back, which is a wonderful thing to have back. I got a lot done today and it was wonderful, and got a lot of business stuff done that seemed to have been backlogged, and things are moving forward, and I feel like a dam was burst. But the one truly thing is, I even spent time and I relaxed and I read and got some good rest. And that is truly, for me, a wonderful thing, because I have learned to relax. And I have learned from my past, because I could never learn to relax. And I know for a lot of you folks out there, it is really hard to relax. And at least for me, it took me throwing the TV out the door to relax, because I don't have all that streaming negativity coming into my house. And I know a lot of you folks out there love your TV, but I would challenge you for one day, turn off your TV and see what happens. I know it's going to be a lot quiet in the house, but pick up a good book and see what happens. and seeing how that opens up your mind. It does wonders for you. I know for me, I'm learning all sorts of good stuff. And boy, is that a whole lot more. And I'm reading some wonderful authors from even the turn of the century, where a lot of the ideas that we think are new today are actually from there. I'm actually quite a history buff myself, because I usually find what's from the past, that which we thought was new is actually from our has been before. And it's wonderful to discover the roots of things. And I enjoy that so much, because sometimes things from our past move forward to our future and end up in our present moment, and we learn from them. And that's one thing I'd also like to leave you a note with. You know, letting go of your past doesn't mean that we let totally go of it. Doesn't mean we don't shut the door on it. It's brought us to the point of who we are today, and that we have learned from it. It has taught us a lot of great lessons. Some of them, a lot of them, for some of us, really a lot of negative. And then there's also been some positives. It's up to us to choose on how we want to view things, whether they be positive or negative or neutral. That choice is up to us and our own perspective on things. And if you need help, get the help you need. And if you want to email me at Andrea at 84streetrocks.com, or you can leave me a message in the chat box down below, and I'll get back to you just as soon as possible. And with that, I wish you a great Declutter's Delight for life, and learn to let go, and that you can move forward. Have love, compassion, and kindness. Remember to have peace and tranquility and hope and love in your heart. And that no matter what, show love in your heart. And have a great night. And blessings to you all.